Hello everyone, welcome back to leewhat channel. So today's video is not about the Crusaders Quest, but it's about the Mikrotik router that I've been using for years. And recently they updated the RouterOS version to 7.21 stable. So I want to remake the guide that I made last year about installing Blocky on the RAM disk or the tmpfs. So I already reset my hAP AX2. Just in case if you also want to follow along, like you just recently bought a Mikrotik, you can follow this guide as well. First thing, we need to plug the Ethernet cable from our ISP router to the Mikrotik port Ethernet number 1. That's for the internet source. Then we can double click this 192.168.88.1 and input the admin and password according to the sticker on the router unit. Then we press connect. This app is a Winbox. You can download it from mikrotik.com/Winbox. They have a beta version which has the dark mode, but I'm still using the older version. So we press connect and we following here, we can just OK. So the first thing we need to update first. So we go to the system, package, and check for update. Mine already installed 7.21, but we haven't enabled container. So after you check for update, we have list of packages that can be installed. So here we double click the container and press enable, and then we apply changes. This will restart the router. Now we just need to wait. So make sure we have container package installed here. But right now we still unable to use container because they have a restriction after on the latest 7 point something. So first thing we need to type on open the terminal and system device mode update container yes. After this we need to turn off the power or reboot by pressing reset or mode button. So we press the button here. And the Mikrotik router will restart. So here they have introduced a new app where you can just click and install the container. But since they don't have Blocky, I will need to install it by myself. As you can see here, we have only 128 megabyte of the internal storage, which we don't want to wear it down so much. So I'm using the temporary file system or the RAM disk. So what I want to install is this Blocky DNS Blocky. It's a DNS proxy and adblocker for the local network written in Go. It also helps with the DNS over HTTPS because my country blocked some access to the website like Reddit. So now that we have enabled the container, we proceed go to the interface to create the virtual Ethernet for our container. So virtual Ethernet 1. For the address, you can go any with the private ranges. So we just 172.17.0.1/20 0.2/24. For the gateway, 172.17.0.1. And then we press OK. After this, we go to the bridge and we create a new bridge named container. Next, we create address for that for the bridge. So we go to IP addresses and 172.17.0.1/24 for the interface container. After this, we go to the bridge and ports and then interface VETH1 with the bridge container. After this, we need to allow the container to get internet. So we go to the IP firewall and then the net. We change source net and then the source address for the 172.17.0.0/24. And we pick the action masquerade. So right now, the container can have internet access. But before this, we need to create the RAM disk first. So we go to the system and then this, and then we create. You can give any name. I just give it a RAM name. Make sure it's a tmpfs type. After that, I'll limit to 100 megabit. And make sure to mount the file system. Press OK to create it. Then you can see on the files we have a new disk. Now we can set up the container. So inside here, the config, the registry URL, we go to the Docker. So https://registry docker.io. For the layer, I go with the RAM. So we put everything on the RAM disk just now. So RAM layer, RAM TMP. So RAM layer, RAM TMP, this one nothing. So we can start create the container. The name we going remote image. This one is the container name on the Docker Hub. So let's say here we go to the installation and then we go to the Docker here. Image name the XPX01 Blocky. So we put the remote image here, and then the root there we go with RAM root and then RAM layer. Interface we pick the virtual Ethernet one. For the mount we'll be doing config/config with the read and write access, and inventory environment we go with blocky config file, all uppercase, and here we put in config/config.yml. This should be enough, and then we press OK. It will start to download the Docker image or the container image. They also have a new lock just for the container here. So the download extract is done, but we don't want to start it first because we haven't included the config file. So we go to the files, we create config. And to make it easier, I'll be making a SMB sharing file. So we create the work group, domain is work group. And then the share is the config. We name it config. We enable it. And then we enable the guest as a also can write. So right now we go to my computer and then we go to the address bar. you need to check your IP address here, session 192.168.88.1. So here 192.168.88.1. We input the name guest and then OK. So here we need to create a new text document. We name it config.yml. Make sure to delete the .txt. Then we just open it on your text editor, your favorite text editor. And we insert a basic Blocky config. So my upstream server will be a leewhat.net, and the block list, deny list will be some of the Hagazi and some Discord scam here. Once we upload it, we can turn off the SMB share. And then we can start the container. You can check it from this, the log. Once done, you will see the UDP server is up and running on address. So we have another total 78,000 block list. But right now we are not using Blocky as a DNS server, because right now we're still using the Mikrotik as the DNS server. So we need to go to the DHCP server and network, double click the first one, and we need to change the DNS server to the one we use, 172.17.0.2, the virtual alternate one that you created. Once we do this, we need to go to the terminal, open the command prompt, and then ipconfig renew. Once you renew, then you should see a lot of log. They are starting to receive the DNS request. You can check your server. So here dnscheck.tools. You can see that it's already using the server that I included. But let's say if you want to force other user to use your DNS server, even though if they use different like 1.1.1.1 or Google, you can do it by the IP firewall and the NAT. So we use the DST NAT on the chain, on the protocol TCP, and the port destination port 53 for the DNS. For the action, we pick the TST NAT to our virtual Ethernet server 17.0.2 with the port 53. We want to exclude the Mikrotik itself, so only the client. So then we need to clone it for the UDP protocol. Now that we reach this, the DNS server part is done. But the main problem is because we are using the RAM disk. Upon restarting, the RAM disk will be gone, empty. So our container will fail to start. To do this, we need to schedule. On the last year video, we need to create a custom script to delete the container and then update, pull again. But after this update, the 7.21 RouterOS update, it is easier. So we just need to system, scheduler, we create new. So I just give it a name, restore Blocky. Start time will be startup, and we only need the policy of read and write. Since we need to give some delay before the internet is up, so I give it 20 seconds. And the new command is we need to container repull 0. The 0 is the first ID of the first container. We only have one container. The first is start with 0. So after repull 0, we need to start it. Container start 0. It is so much simpler now. So to make sure that it works, we just need to restart. So reboot. We are rebooted, and when we can follow the log to see the script is working. So here Blocky is starting to repull. And you can see our file storage still not being used. And then Blocky started. And then the DNS server already starting to answer. So if you want to change your password for the Wi-Fi, you can go to the Wi-Fi tab. And then on the security, change the passphrase for the password. And then for the name, is this the SSID tab. You just change for the both of them. So that's it for today on installing Blocky on temporary file system in Mikrotik, hAP AX2, since this one lack of the USB port. Bye bye.